Hi guys, and welcome to the channel. In today's episode we're going to be changing our old door handles on the Defender to brand new Exmoor Trim ones, but trust me, it's not as easy as you might think. So I'm going to show you just how to get those door handles off if they don't want to come off by themselves. Now trust me, replacing the door handles on your Defender is a relatively easy job. The linkages inside the door have to be sort of considered a little bit, but the hardest thing can be getting the door handles off themselves because they tend to seize. So inside these door handles you've actually got some rivnuts, and they're set into the plastic housing. What happens over time is they actually fuse, the rivnuts fuse to the bolts and you can't get them undone, and then what might happen is they'll spin inside the plastic and then you're totally screwed. So it's quite a drastic procedure, but I'm going to show you how you can get them off if you can't get them off normally. I just wanted to show you and try and show you how difficult it is to do without taking the regulator plate off here, because you've got the screw right at the back in there. Can't even see it on camera, but there is a screw right down there. So it is possible to just drill a hole, and I know a lot of you will not want to do this, and it's completely understandable. I'm just showing you the options. So that's it. We just want a little hole so we can get a screwdriver through there. That one's going as well. Okay, we've had some real luck with this. There's a little tiny groove just in here that locates in there. So when you're refitting these, if you're doing them again, they go in and across. You see, push that way. So you have to pull it out, wriggle it, and get the mechanism out. So the only thing holding us back, unfortunately, because our TD5 is a very early one, a 99, it doesn't have the long barrels. So this is an early barrel, and unfortunately it's not long enough to suit the Exmoor Trim handle. So 2002 was the changeover year when they changed to the longer barrels. Now you can't buy the barrels on their own with keys, you have to buy a whole lock set. Now that's not a terrible thing, it's just an extra expense. So this is a Lucas one, it's not a genuine Land Rover. Now the Lucas one is about 65 quid, and if you go for a Land Rover one it's double that. So I'm pretty happy with the Lucas stuff, if I'm honest. And obviously in the kit you get a brand new ignition barrel, which we won't be fitting today, but as I said before, we will be including that with the vehicle, so someone else can do that should they want to. You've got your 3 barrels, back door and 2 side doors. We're only going to use one of those today. We've removed our arm. Now we need to take the mount off. Push this pin in, the end should come off. I was trying to get the actuator mount, which you can see here, off the barrel, and it does come off, or it's supposed to come off. The pin did depress, but that has completely and utterly fused inside the housing, so I couldn't separate the two. So this is the one we took off the passenger door, and luckily I was able to salvage it. I don't know if I've damaged the housing too much holding it in the vise, but it was completely seized in there. Yeah, it does come apart, but you know, you might have to buy a cheap lock and just get this part if we can't get this part separately. These are not a tight fit tolerance, so this should still go in there easy enough, which it does. On our Exmoor Trim handle we've got a blank in place, and that's held in by this big Allen bolt here. So if we remove that, our little blank comes out, very nice. So you need to pop your receiver, your mount in first. Make sure it drops out the bottom. There we go. Then you pop your lock in. So we want our pin to engage. Just inside there, our pin's engaged. This is now fixed. Our actuator in place. Turns all the way around, and when it's out, it doesn't. So let's get it in and hopefully we'll get it working. So you'll find it easier putting this bolt in first, the one nearest the edge of the door, because you can lever the handle out, which makes the bolt going in will go in straight. Whereas if you mount the front one, you're going to have to go in at an angle and it's really difficult. So mount this one first, because you can get the hole straight, get the bolt in, then you can get the other one on. It's much easier. And I'm using a ball-ended hex key to get the angle on there. So oh, nope. So the only redeeming part of doing it this way is we do have to replace our lock anyway, so that's gone. But we're just going to start taking some of this off so we can get to we'll get our barrel out from the back. I'm going to try and heat all around the plastic so the riv nut releases this plastic, but we're still going to have the riv nut on the end, so it's not going to allow us to remove the screw. We've got our riv nut with our bolt through it, and there's a slotted part in the door where the bolt passes through. So as long as we use a washer on the outside, or sorry, the inside of the door, we can make the top of this a little bit bigger. And it'll drop out. There's just no way that was coming apart. We've got it out. Let's try and do the other one. So as you can see, that is a pretty tricky job, but you've just got to be really careful when you're running the cutting disc close to the skin, because you don't want to be cutting into that. That'd be really bad. But just go as far as you can and you're comfortable with. So we're going to fit the door handle now. And I was going to mention that before, this actually wasn't connected to a lock mechanism with the key, so it never had that facility where you could unlock the vehicle on this door. You can unlock it from the rear door, and obviously from the driver's door, and I think that's how we're going to keep it. So manually operate the latch, check the inside, that works. Check the outside, that works. Good, let's get the door card on. There we go. Now I've got a full complement of Exmoor Trim handles, all working nicely. Perfect. Now I hope that gives you some help when you're doing the door handles yourselves, whether you're going to be replacing the door handles like for like, or you're going to be upgrading to some CNC machine handles like these Exmoor Trim ones, which I can definitely recommend. I love these handles, they're so positive and solid, definitely well worth looking at. And if you want to look at anything that I've mentioned in any of the videos, always in the description below I'm going to put a link to everything that's available at lrparts.net. But hopefully that's going to help you. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.